What's up, everybody? It is a Blue Drake, and in typical Blue Drake fashion, I am randomly returning to talk about something that I'm excited about that you wouldn't think I would be excited about, and yet somehow I am. And today, that thing that we're going to be talking about is the newly announced Kerbal Space Program 2. Now, I know this seems kind of random, and it was announced very recently, uh, within the past couple of hours, to most people's surprise. But Kerbal Space Program is actually the game that I've always played and has a lot of potential, and I've never really gotten everything that I wanted out of it because it could be so much more than what it is. And it's also one of those weird games that, like, it's a kid's game, but also kind of not, because there's nothing else like it that achieves what it achieves. And that means that most of us are going to play it whether people think it's a kid's game or not. So, this is actually pretty exciting, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit why. I mean, this is okay. That looks dope. All right. Anyways, so let's go over this just a titty bit really quick. So I actually used to play Kerbal Space Program quite a bit. You can search for my videos on it way back in the day. In fact, we had this modification that we were kind of working on many years ago. It was called Interstellar Warfare, and basically it transformed Kerbal Space Program into a real-time strategy war mode. And it was multiplayer as well. So you would have one team that starts on one planet and another team that starts on another planet, and then you would have to build up ships, and then fight each other and try to take over other planets and secure resources. And we also included a faster than light drive, so that way you could get around the massive waiting periods of normally having to wait for like orbits and stuff like that. It was great. It was a great concept. It was really fun when it worked, but unfortunately, base Kerbal Space Program is not really capable of doing those kinds of things without breaking. But this is why I'm actually pretty excited about Kerbal Space Program 2, because I don't care. This right here! Kerbal Space Program 2 is, I mean, this is the only thing. Like, when they announced this, I was like, it better have this, or it's basically worthless. Kerbal Space Program 2 has been rebuilt completely, specifically to have multiplayer, which is that's what I want really bad. I mean, everything else is pretty cool. Interstellar travel, absolutely awesome. Colonies, oh yeah, this. I mean, because just read this: next gen tech, colonies, and systematic resource gathering. Yes. Yes, please. Now, another thing is the Kerbal Space Program development team has always been known as slightly like a pacifist, so I'm sure that they're not going to have warfare and whatnot. But strategic objectives, even resource gathering, is please, yes, absolutely. That is exciting. Colony building where you can launch new ships, that's great. And of course, as long as they have modding involved, then I am sure in the future, if we really want laser guns and we really want KSP tactical space warfare, we can have it. And that really excites me, because there's nothing else like this game. You can say Star Citizen, you can say No Man's Sky. I don't really think that's the same thing as KSP. KSP is like the Arma of space. And when I say that, it's just like, even though it's kind of like a goofy, it's got like this, they I don't understand how they were able to create like the minions of space, because that's what these are. Like, these little guys, they've literally created the minions of space. It's like I'm watching Despicable Me 4 Space Edition, and that kind of gets me out of the moment whenever I play KSP, but it doesn't matter because there's nothing else like it. Nothing else does this, and that's one of the reasons that I've always played it and enjoyed it. And that's one of the reasons that I'm still excited about Kerbal Space Program 2, because it's the only game out there that is just uncompromising realism in space. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of things that are a little bit easier to make it more accessible, but it's still light years beyond anything else other than, say, I don't know, the Space Shuttle Simulator. I really can't think of too many things that do what KSP do, which is kind of a shame because it's a great concept, and I feel like if we could have more games that embraced this level of scale and interstellar travel, we could have considerably more interesting types of games. Like I want a realistic tactical interstellar warfare game. Like that's gonna I don't care if it's a KSP2 mod or what, but please give that to me. And there's actually been a lot of really interesting like deep space or like zero G games. There's the other game that's coming out here soon called Boundary. So Drake 42 Boundary. I'm not sure if I yeah, here. So there's this game that's going to be coming out that actually looks really interesting, which is Zero G Warfare, which is really cool. It's like Call of Duty in space, kind of. Although I would say maybe more like Insurgency in space. I think would be a better way. Insurgency Sandstorm in space would be a good way to explain it, which I think is really cool. And of course now we have KSP2. I don't know. This is really cool. This is the kind of stuff that I don't think you would maybe think that I'd be excited about, and yet I am absolutely excited about. This is something that is, I don't know. This is really awesome that I had to. I I know I don't upload YouTube videos as much as I used to. We've been over the reasons as to why. I have things outside of YouTube, like my career now outside of YouTube is demanding, and I can't always dedicate the time to upload videos. And there's not always things to talk about, and sometimes life, family stuff, all sorts of things get in the way. Some things I can talk about, some things that I can't talk about, especially when it comes to like work and stuff like that. So I apologize for the random periods where I just disappear. I swear, I still love you. Blue Drake still loves you. And it's okay. I don't need to get as many views as I used to. It's not like a necessity or anything. So I don't really. I just love talking about games that I love. Like that's all. I love using my channel to still talk to you guys about these kinds of things that I think are interesting, and hopefully you guys still like that as well. So that gonna you still like old Blue Drake talking about KSP, right? Right, guys. But this is great. This is awesome. I would actually play this. I would actually play this regularly if it is able to do all of the things that the first KSP didn't. Because one of the reasons I didn't get into the first KSP nearly as much is just because of some of the painful limitations that it has, that really restrict replayability, that really restrict what you can do even with modding. The lack of multiplayer is really frustrating, and hopefully if they're able to create Kerbal Space Program 2 and have really good solid multiplayer, that's all I'm about. We know it's possible. Even in the first KSP, what they were doing in terms of multiplayer, like obviously it needed a lot of polish, maybe even a complete refactor of the entire game in order to make the multiplayer work, but it is obviously possible. And actually, I think if they were going to do multiplayer, this is the best way to do it. I think that the original Kerbal Space Program is now just, it is drowning in so much technical debt that I think the only way for you to actually do Kerbal Space Program with multiplayer right would be to remake it and call it Kerbal Space Program 2, which is hopefully what they're doing. Hopefully this isn't just like a like built on top of the core KSP, or if it is, hopefully they've like upended a lot of stuff and really refactored the entire thing to be cleaner and more stable when it comes to implementing complex features like networking and replication. So this is gonna be great if they can pull this off. This is please, yes, I'm absolutely excited about this. Colonies 100%. Brand new to Kerbal Space Program 2 are colonies. These colonies not only pose their own physics challenges, but also require resource gathering to build structures, space stations, habitations, and unique fuel types. Eventually, these colonies become advanced enough for vehicle construction, propelling deep space and beyond. That's awesome. That is awesome. That is a wonderful concept. It's a shame that KSP is still kind of like got that goofiness to it, which that's not a bad thing. It's just like sometimes I want to take this kind of stuff serious because I love space travel. I love this kind of stuff. I love the implications that it has for gameplay, especially multiplayer. I want multiplayer interstellar warfare. I want it. I want serious multiplayer interstellar warfare. I don't know. That's always been really interesting to me. Like, look at this screenshot alone is like really dope. And there's a lot of games like Star Citizen and No Man's Sky and stuff like that. But I think there's something attractive about games that are grounded in realism, about games that when as you learn to play, you're actually learning things about our real world, and learning things about how the world works, and physics and chemistry or whatever, all these different types of games that you see now that are not just rooted in creativity but also education. I don't know, it's great, it's awesome, because and that's one of the reasons I also like combat in those kinds of games, because leveraging your education in order to kill the hell out of somebody else, like that's my shit. I love that. So I know KSP probably isn't going to do that in the base game because they're pacifists, but somebody give me an Interstellar Warfare mod for KSP2, please. And I'm going to be playing this anyway, so this is awesome. This is a game that you probably wouldn't think I would be excited about, and yet I am excited about. And of course, there's actually a bunch of other games that I have not been I haven't had as much time to talk about and think about lately that are looking really cool as well. Boundary, obviously, one of them. A lot of people have been asking me about the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I've got to be honest, like, that's cool and all that they're going back to Modern Warfare, but asking me if I like Call of Duty Modern Warfare over things like, say, I don't know, Project Reality or Hell Let Loose, like, it's cool that they're starting to push a little bit further into the tactical community, but it's still like it's still nowhere close to the games that I play. Like, that's cool and all, but like I barely even play Battlefield because it's not hardcore enough. So like Call of Duty being a little bit more hard, I don't know. It's cool, but we'll see. The single player campaign though, I might get into that because that's gonna be dope as hell. But yeah, all right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to talk about this random thing that I think is really cool. There's actually there's a couple other really cool things that I might make videos on here in the near future. That hopefully, for those of you who are interested, you'll stick around and watch those. There's some really, really cool stuff that is happening right now that I have not talked about yet. That, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be something that blows up and everybody's going to be interested in it, or if it's just going to be like our group of like niche enthusiasts that love like just hardcore stuff. I have trouble gauging that. But I don't know. I'm at this point where I don't really care as much about the popularity aspect of some of these games and some of the things that are upcoming, because they're just so cool that I almost want to go back just to being like a niche enthusiast, because man, we live in an era now where some things back when I was growing up and playing some of these games that I was like, man, it would be so cool if one day we could have this. Like, it's happening now. Massive scale interstellar warfare. I still remember back in the day when like having a 4 kilometer map in Project Reality was like, that was like, oh my gosh, this is the biggest thing we've ever seen. And like now we are just getting to levels where potentially that could get blown out of the water. Like, seriously, think about it. Imagine having like Arma, right? Imagine like Arma, but with interplanetary warfare. Like, imagine Project Reality, but instead of a 4 kilometer map, like interstellar marine level dropship stuff, where you're just like you're launching from like a starship in like a landing craft with a bunch of like infantry marines onto a planet and attacking object. Like, that's the era that we're potentially about to enter into. You see Star Citizen kind of like pushing in that direction a little bit, and I mean, they're tripping over themselves in a couple places. Hopefully nobody gets triggered when I say that, but Star Citizen has still got a little bit to go before it feels really smooth. But it's gonna start getting to a point where it's not gonna just be Star Citizen making those kinds of games. There's gonna be a lot of studios out there that are gonna be able to flex this whole new world of technology, where we can have multiple planets in games now, where we can have all and the gameplay implications of that, combining that with already existing formulas. You think Hell Let Loose obviously is a great game, but imagine Hell Let Loose, but like on a planetary scale. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. I mean, you could have like advance and secure, and you start in like a starship, and then you have to like attack a ground base. Exciting. All right, well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you guys later. I just wanted to show you this thing that I'm excited about. Hopefully, you're excited about as well. Maybe not. I don't know, but it's still really cool. And I know Kerbal Space Program 2 almost sounds like a meme, but at the same time, when you really think about it, you're like, man, if this has multiplayer, if this has all the stuff that they'll be able to do because they've like completely rebuilt the game and made it support multiplayer and all of these other features that we've wanted for so long. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, that's it. All right. Remember, Blue Drake loves you. I'll see you again very soon. I'm sorry I've been gone, but at the same time, there's some really, really cool stuff that is on its way that when it actually drops, our lives are going to change so much that I'm not sure if you're going to really care that I've been gone for a couple weeks at a time. So, okay, all right. Um, love you.